Welcome to another online learning brought to you by our new program, FIRE, Filipino Homes Institute of Real Estate. And I'm so excited to introduce our distinguished speaker for today's training, branding, Filipino Homes branding, the most important for me. If you're a new agent and if you want to sustain your success, this is it. This is the best time to attend why brand is very important in selling, especially in times that pandemic, in times of something that you don't have connections anymore, you can use your brand. And for people who are new, wants to really jump their success, jump their success right away, branding is very important. Today, the best person to talk is one of the most successful agents of Filipino Home. Among the highlights of his career was the closing of 82 million sales in one day. And that was the time that me, Ryan, and Jeff was fighting to have that sale, and that was the record-breaking sale in one day. In fact, we closed that in about 2 hours, 82 million in one day for a corporate client. So while in ECQ, you have seen in his profile, and some of them I already shared to you, that he is keeping himself so busy in real estate, okay, shaping up new online learnings, new strategies, and expanding his digital presence in YouTube. So you better follow his YouTube and you can replicate his success, where he provides informational content not just for agents but also for the buyers and soon to be buyers. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so proud to introduce our distinguished speaker from Team Star Shooter Unit Manager George Ryan Sermago. Welcome, boss. That's how to introduce you.
So thank you, Dai, for everyone for taking the time to join us. So it's a good opportunity for us to really sharpen the axe. So that's a good opportunity, and I would like to again to welcome you all. I see right now 451 watching this video. So I hope na you will learn something in the same way as I learned Sad in helping and in getting information to share it to you, Sad. All right, so this presentation is really catered for us to improve our digital presence. The digital branding that we have before, that we consider as optional, karon it's gonna be mandatory. So this will actually make or break our career. Okay, so we might have like a few sales here and there, but in terms of having real estate as a career, this is very important. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so quick facts lang, quick facts, and this is something, and everybody knows na everybody is on the internet. Okay, so from a statistics perspective, and this is from a Philippine setting, and this is actually last year. So our country have more mobile connections than our entire population. So it's actually we have more cell phones or SIM cards than the people living in the Philippines. And then 70.8% are active internet users. So just imagine, especially Karono, I think it will be like 100% na siguro doing the internet. And then we spend half of our day on the internet. So again, from this setting, it could have been more, or I'm sure it will be more. Almost always, we buy a product or service when we search online. Okay? So the product that we search online does not necessarily mean it's gonna be real estate. So I'm gonna show you another slide. This was from a couple of years ago, but I think the data here is very important. If you look at here on your right, no, left hand side on the bar graph, the blue bar, it would show that real estate have the most number of posts across all industries, even having higher posts than marketing and software and even hardware. But if you look at on the right side on the interaction, real estate have the lowest interaction. So there's a lot of posts, and you can see this in Facebook especially. But then in terms of actual conversion or interaction, we have the lowest. Okay? So that's something that we need to be conscious of, and that is actually precisely where the branding comes in, because there's a lot of real estate practitioners out there that are competing for the same client that you will have. And the only thing that would differentiate us from the rest is our branding. So the question here is, what is personal branding? Because we already have the Filipino Homes branding, and how I see it, Mango, the company branding. So this is the Filipino Homes brand, and this we see this in our profile picture, our side, okay? And this is our brand. Now, it's not good the company will always do it like that, pushing forward, but for us, we're not moving, because the branding will set the tone for success, but it is our personal brand that will actually walk towards success. So it's not like we should be complacent. We have this brand, we have this Filipino brand. In fact, we should be the one to nurture it. A personal brand is, and I have shared this with you, it's not just one day. And before I show this, the personal brand is your reputation. It is what people think about you when you leave the room. But there's actually an added portion to that, and that is more on what your clients think you can do for them. And this is where the value add. It's not enough we will just have like a very good, maybe a profile picture and maybe a good very good reputation that we are honest, we are kind, we are generous. But then we need to be realistic on what it means to the client, because this is a service industry. We are valued based on our service. If we do not provide service, then we are not good at all. Okay, so your personal brand will take care of you, but it should also take care of your clients. Now, these are the 5 topics that we will be discussing. And number 1 is what to do first. Should we do the selling, or should we brand ourselves? Okay. Number 2 is there is such a thing as a brand crisis. So it's not like, we go into there spreading our brand and that's all we can think of, because there are actually people is really to do the opposite of what you're trying to do. And that's the time we need to be aware of that so that we will know how to manage it, the brand crisis. And then this one, the third one, is the bonus, the special feature about, and this is something that's very relevant, no? Especially during the ECQ period and until recently. So I named it the killing the drama, ranting in Facebook. Should we rant? Should we not rant? Should our rant be justified? And then we'll be showing to you 7 strategies to build your brand post ECQ, because there are things that we shared before in terms of branding that might not be applicable right now, or that might need to be accelerated, because as you know, we are hopefully we're gonna the quarantine will be over soon, and by that time it's gonna be a buyer's market. You've seen this in developers; they are reducing even their equity payment now. So how do we respond to that? And lastly is on how to you expand your brand for free. So this is more of like my best practice in terms of how I do my branding, and that's something that I would also like to share with you because I feel that what I learned when I go into the whole process is something that you might also experience, and it's gonna be a better experience for you because you already have the guide in terms of how I was able to get there and how you will soon be able to get there. But before that, intro. My name is George Ryan Jarmago, and today we are inside Cebu IT Park. All right, so just trying to get out there, and that's actually part of my branding in terms of having that first impact, because the client will not have might not have the patience to stay with you for a very long time. So the first few seconds of your engagement should be all right. So let's begin. What to do first? Should we sell or should we develop our brand? And this is something that I feel when I started, sometimes you get confused because branding is important, but selling is something that would earn you money. So should I sacrifice my short-term goal with a long-term goal, or should I just focus on the short-term goal and work on my long-term goal? Okay, so that's something that we continue to experience as real estate professionals every day. And I'm gonna try to relate this to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that you cannot go to another level if your need is not satisfied. So if you look at in here, the first need is more on the physiological needs, air, basic needs, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and reproduction. Wait, no, reproduction. So if you do not meet this need, you can never go up to the safety need. Okay, so these are the basic needs going up to the self-actualization. And from a selling perspective, I would categorize this basic need and the safety need as part of your selling. You cannot move up, at least from this perspective, you cannot move up if you do not satisfy this need. Okay? Because of course, how can you do the branding if your essentials are not satisfied? Because we are in this business to provide, maybe to provide for ourselves and to provide for our family as well. If you do not, I'm sorry, if you do not satisfy that, then we would not be able to do our branding effectively. But here's my proposal, and that's something that I think is doable. And this is the inverted hierarchy of needs as well. So if you see here on the short term, I recommended you do 20% of branding and 80% of selling. And for the long term, 20% selling and 80% of branding. And let me explain. So if you look at on the triangle, the triangle in the selling part, it speaks about the manner of engagement that you need to do. Meaning, you need to do a lot of selling because you need to boost your morale as well, and you need to make sure that what you're doing, the hard work that you do, comes into fruition. And these are short-term goals, okay? But you should not allow your branding to be left alone. So you do a little bit of branding, and branding is just putting yourself out there, not just because of your product, but because of your personality, of who you are. Because eventually, this will match together. And if you look at the triangle, as you move up, the selling will become lesser because your brand will do the selling for you. Because if you do not cultivate your branding, you will forever do the selling. And sometimes it will be very hard, especially if we are not able to cope up with the technology as well. Okay, the real estate landscape is changing, and we have no choice but really to adapt. Okay, so you do your selling if you are a newbie, 1 year or less than 1 year. Focus on selling, but not just on selling, but also on your branding. Now, just a tip, when you do the selling, you need also to position yourself on what type of market are you trying to penetrate, okay? And position your branding towards that. Your branding can maybe attract high-end investors, people who are looking for luxury properties, or your branding can attract more on the socialized housing or more on the mid market. So you try to determine who are you and what are you trying to promote. And eventually, when you go higher in your sales, your branding as well will go have a bigger role in terms of your real estate career. Because remember, we are not talking here about jobs, we are talking here about careers. Okay, and that is why Boston always emphasized the importance of branding, because this is what will sustain you in the same way as it has sustained Philippine homes